Did you ever have a dream of becoming a big music star? Well, KMEM will be hosting the Texaco Country Showdown Wednesday, July 11th, 2012 at the Scotland County Fair. Stop by one of our participating sponsors or KMEM Radio for a registration form. Fill it out and return it to KMEM with your $20 entry fee before July 6, 2012. If you have questions, please call us today at 660-465-7225 or toll free 1-800-748-7875. Our sponsors this year so far include Exchange Bank of Northeast Missouri in Cahokia, Steve's Family Dining in Cahokia, M's Place at Brock, Northeast Missouri Rural Telephone in Green City, and Gas and More in Memphis.
Real country weather.
Hey everybody, it'll be sunny today with a high near 78 degrees. Tonight we'll see mostly clear skies and a low right around 52. It'll be mostly sunny tomorrow with a high near 79 and partly cloudy tomorrow night with the low right around 58.
This is the award-winning broadcast of Healthy University, bringing health and vitality to you and your family, brought to you by Scotland County Hospital in Memphis. Now, here's your host, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good.
Welcome, good morning. 7 after the hour here on beautiful Memphis, Missouri, KMEM 100.5. It's Healthy You. I'm Dr. Randy Tobler, and it's like Six Flags in here. We have a ton of guests, and I'll be telling you about them in just a moment. How you doing, Mr. Bud?
Doing good. Better than I deserve to be.
How's Miss Elisa?
Super duper.
Producer Elisa Kiger. Thanks for being with us. Before we get to our subject today, which I'm anxious to learn about because I really wasn't aware of this group and this topic, and we have some special guests to talk about that, who you all know, but we'll introduce them in a second. I wanted to talk about a little follow-up to something we talked about on the air last week with our guest Jennifer Mayfield from the Extension Service. A cornucopia of nutritional information, right? And she dropped off some stuff because, boy, it's always good to learn. And she dropped off some stuff because remember we were talking about...
Is this going to be like homework?
Well, it was homework for me. Helene and I spent most part of the weekend and yesterday, researching and looking.
Really?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know, but you did not need to be chewing on it.
Did Rick Fisher leave me a gift on the microphone? No, thanks, Rick. Love you too, buddy.
It was a bed bug.
No, so we were talking about E. coli.
Yes.
And the difference, which in a famous 1999 study out of Cornell University was purported to be in the E. coli 0157 that causes all the bad stuff. There were some researchers there that did some interesting research, and they actually sort of extended, based on their basic research, that found that grass-fed cows had a higher lower proportion of acid-resistant bacteria.
Right, and so the acid-resistant bacteria.
And the acid bacteria-resistant were higher in the corn-fed because the acid pH is different in the colon. And they theorized that 0157 would be more prevalent in corn-fed rather than grass-fed beef. And you know my feelings about grass-fed beef. I really, all other things being equal, would like to be a grass-fed beef guy for many reasons. It's good for the earth. It's good for, it's good for the pastures and stuff. And it's good, the fat constituencies and the compositions with the omega-3s and the conjugated linoleic acid and all that stuff we've talked about.
If you say so.
Well, it turns out, that's all good. It's just
it is good.
Trust me, I'm a doctor. It's good. Okay.
I gotcha.
So it turns out that in some further study, which Jennifer supplied, that fact may not be true.
Really?
When they've looked at because 0157 seems to colonize certain parts of the colon that are the terminal parts of the colon more than the standard E. coli. And for a number of very specific reasons, we don't want to get into the weeds about that. It turns out that when they sample, probably you're as likely to be exposed to 0157 from grass-fed or from corn-fed And the bottom line is, don't get a false sense of security and fail to cook your meat all the way through.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
For sure.
And I didn't want to get any false impressions out there.
Right. No.
And now there are even people who, would say, that are grass-fed advocates and like me, that would say, well, that's, we're going to concede that point. It turns out that another bacteria called Campylobacter, which can cause a diarrheal illness. Jess knows about that. Right, Jess? Oh, no, that wasn't a HIPAA. No, that wasn't a HIPAA violation. But I've had my bouts. Yeah. But no. But I'm talking as a medical professional. You know about Campylobacter and dehydration and how kids and people can get.
Oh my goodness!
Wow, man, I'm digging myself out of this one.
My troubles are all behind me now. Yeah.
But at any rate, it turns out that. So there are some other things, but the real reason to eat grass-fed products are probably because of the nutritional benefits that derive therefrom. Okay? But enough of that. We wanted to be, we're accurate here, and we always want to be accurate. So if anyone ever has facts that are that I've gotten wrong, please let me know.
And we took a caller last week that we could not get on the air.
Yeah.
And she said, can you ask Jennifer, who
I'm glad you remembered that.
So wise to give us so much nutritional and food safety information last week. And the caller said, these deli potato salads and coleslaws that we get, when is the appropriate time to throw it out after it says best by June 10th 2012? So I asked Jennifer later that day, and Jennifer said you have about a 5-day window there. Best by June 10th. You probably should throw it out.
That's not
by
an expiration date. It's just saying it's best if you use it.
And so Jennifer says most everything like potato salad or coleslaw would have a 5-day window.
So Jennifer probably wouldn't have appreciated my little stunt over the weekend. I was bachelor for Helene and Shannon went down to the Country Music Association Festival down in Nashville. Shannon wins tickets from radio stations like crazy down in Columbia. I don't know.
Does that?
I've never gotten a $2 return on a lottery ticket here. I don't know.
So anyway, you were Mr. Mom.
I was Mr. Mom, and I was really hungry doing my show on Saturday morning, which I broadcast to St. Louis. And do it from the basement. And I was really hungry, and I'd gotten up late, as most guys will do when they're, I'm not.
But late for you on Saturday morning is like, what, 5:30?
It was 5 o'clock,
That's what I thought.
And we started at 6,
and
6. I'm prepping everything, and I realized about 8 o'clock I hadn't eaten, and it was getting to be the break, and I'm beginning to say stupid things. Well, more stupid things than I usually do on the radio.
So you put what in your mouth?
Well, there was this delicious-looking Frankfurter kind of thing. They're organic. They're not preserved. They're not, but they're natural kind of breakfast sausages, but they're not with the nitrites and everything. Okay. And there was just a little bit of white fuzz on it. I scraped it off. I scraped it off. And I ate it, and everything's good. I'm still here to live and talk about it. And then I looked at the package after I had consumed it, because mold is not bad for you. Penicillin is made from mold, right? So
you're trying to justify this.
Jennifer is like doing The Exorcist, like she's reeling over there if she's listening. May 18th. But it worked good. I mean, I'm fine. Everything's good.
Yeah. So you had more like
I believe
50-day window.
I believe in challenging the stomach. And there's a reason for that. And I pulled a story which I don't have, but we'll talk about it later if we have time. But there's a story out of USA Today talking about how actually being bubble people and not exposing ourselves to germs and stuff, kids that are raised in the city rather than the farm probably have higher rates of asthma. So my stomach has been challenged with more noxious bacteria and stuff than you could imagine. Because if it's in the refrigerator, I eat it. We don't throw anything away.
I'm telling my kids' stomachs were challenged with something last week.
Well,
wow.
Are they doing better?
3 days we were out.
Probably corn-fed.
See, that's why.
No,
I'm kidding you.
Not offended.
But I love, once in a while, I go up to Jay's and get one of those nice marbled corn-fed things. I love it. So, I eat the corn-fed beef too. But,
I'll pull one out of the fridge.
At any rate, I just don't tell Helene. At any rate, hey.
You're in trouble
Bud,
now.
Why don't you introduce our special in-studio guest, and let's get down to some serious business.
Absolutely. We have a couple of guests with us today, and the one I wanted to talk to and speak with first was Margaret Curry. And this has to do with an organization within our county that is all volunteer, and it's a group of people who are medically trained, albeit anything that's medical, like an EMT.
So medically licensed, right, Margaret? Welcome.
Well, they necessarily don't have to be.
Can they be a non-medical person
Yes.
medically trained?
Yes.
Okay.
The whole
Like first responders.
And what is it called? The system.
Scotland County Medical Reserve Corps,
Medical Reserve Corps.
MRC for short.
Sort of makes me want to put on a uniform and salute. Is it that kind of a medical, reserve corps?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, when we started, we probably should have changed the name later to
I like it.
just
No, it sounds
Citizen
good.
Corps
It sounds
because
good. Yeah,
it's
good.
not just for medical people.
Okay.
And the whole purpose is to engage volunteers to strengthen our public health response in an emergency.
Okay.
Awesome.
And the Medical Reserve Corps come about after 9/11 because of all the people that showed up in New York City to help out. And there was no way to know what kind of license these people had or verify what they was there for. So they started Medical Reserve Corps so you could get a system in place to verify people's credentials, make sure they're licensed, and put them in place and stuff.
Good.
And
Well, it makes sense too because you're more apt to know in your county who the people are that would be medically trained and be able to triage and all kinds of other things.
that's true. But we also need people that aren't medical people to do things that aren't medical. I mean, we'll have, if we had a true disaster, you'll have people that need to send people to different directions or help set up sheltering or any number of things, cook meals or whatever.
With sugar? Meals with sugar?
Sure.
and be able to know how to plan events and get things together and route people to the proper persons?
Yeah.
Is Elisa a member? I'd like to sign her up for you today if I can.
No, she's not.
Well, she's got all the qualifications.
There you go.
Is this akin? Jessica Severe joins us as well. Is this sort of like at the wonderful EMS banquet the other night? First responders were recognized, and those are citizens in the community who may not be trained EMTs. But is this similar, except on a different plane, or where these can be citizens who are interested and they get some special training, or what?
Well, actually, the first responders that we had at the banquet, they have been through the first responder course. They have been trained in, life-saving emergencies according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Organization. The Medical Reserve Corps, and I only know because I am a member myself.
Okay.
We take people from the community who maybe your special gift that you're going to donate is the use of your time and tractor, maybe to help get to people.
Oh.
Or
so sort of infrastructure support.
Yeah. I would be useful because of my medical skills, but maybe someone else would be useful because she can make 100 sandwiches and 50 pots of coffee.
With sugar.
With lots of sugar to help feed the people.
And you make fudge with sugar. It's
sure.
awesome. Oh.
And so it's that kind of structure.
So, Margaret, this is sort of like the people using a military model. There's always Bud, you're a military guy, right? Sort of the support station that's not on the front lines, but they have all of the stuff to make sure that the people on the front lines are doing. Is that right? And transporting and so forth. Yeah,
and Margaret's right about the organization that you have is important because. And this happened to a degree in Joplin also, but you had groves of people in semis with clothing and all other things backed up on the highway because when you get down there, what do you do? And this is the kind of organization that Margaret's talking about that's going to give you the people you need plus also the tools probably, like the backhoe.
I get it. So I'm getting it. You could have Albert Schweitzer, one of the most famous doctors in the world, and whoever the father of EMS is, and the greatest, you could have Dr. Thome, who's a trauma surgeon, but if they don't have the tools, and if they don't have the messengers, and if they don't have the nutrition, and if they don't have the support, they're sort of powerless. Is that right, Margaret? Is that what we're talking about? So you guys are sort of the foundation that really supports all of the structure above it, right? Okay, good. That's Margaret Curry, along with Jessica Severe joins us, and of course Bud Wilson. When we come back, we'll take your calls. Maybe you'd like to inquire about what it takes to become a part of it and what the commitment is. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Numbers are 465-7225.
1-800-748-7875.
Hey there, I'm a squirrel. So I tell you this in the spirit of self-preservation. Replace your shocks when they're worn and you can stop sooner. Who knows? You might even save a cute little fuzzy gray squirrel like me. So please, replace your shocks at 50,000 miles.
Actual mileage may vary depending on driverability, vehicle type, and the type of driving and road conditions. Monroe Shocks and Struts. And June 1st through June 30th, 2012, purchase qualifying truck shocks or struts and get up to $30 back by mail-in rebate. Restrictions apply. Promotion details available at Monroe.com.
And now, a set from one of our favorite songwriters.
I can't forget when.
Yeah, you can't forget me! That black coffee from this morning!
When I told you how
that coffee tasted still with you, babe!
Don't let coffee hang around. Clean up that dirty mouth feeling with Orbit Gum.
How I loved you.
Fabulous! For a good clean feeling after any meal.
Eat, drink, chew, Orbit.
How do you kill a business? It's easy. Don't advertise.
Forget that you have competition trying to attract new customers away from you.
Don't advertise.
Tell yourself it costs too much. You don't get a good return on your investment.
Don't advertise.
Overlook the fact that advertising is an investment in selling, not an expense.
Don't advertise.
Be sure not to provide adequate advertising budget for your business.
Call the KMEM Advertising Department today at 465-7225 or 1-800-748-7875.
Stand for people, progress and pride. Iowa Farm Bureau's by your side.
Farmland prices have gone sky high while the value of the crops they produce tumble. Will today's agriculture boom be tomorrow's bust? Are you prepared for a potential downturn? Iowa Farm Bureau's 2012 Economic Summit will explore these questions and more during this two-day event, moderated by John Phipps and packed with leading national experts such as Jason Henderson from the Federal Reserve Bank and Daniel Mitchell from the Cato Institute. You'll get an in-depth look at agriculture's boom-bust cycles and hear about future fiscal and monetary policy. You'll also learn about risks and opportunities in farmland and the long-term outlook for weather, crops, livestock, and biofuels. Reduce your risk. Join us on July 23rd and 24th at the Sheeman Center on the Iowa State University campus. Pre-registration is $50 for Farm Bureau members and $150 for non-members. To register, go to iowafarmbureau.com.
And if I didn't think it was worth one single try, I'd jump right on a big book and then I'd fly. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and up, and I know one thing. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's
All right, that's life, and sometimes it's life and death when a disaster strikes. And we're here to talk about the Scotland County Medical Reserve Corps, and that is headed by several people who have a passion for making sure that disaster-type circumstances are dealt with. And we're talking with Margaret Curry from, of course, the Health Department, administrator over at the County Health Department, and Jessica Severe, who's a member not only of our Scotland County Ambulance Service and EMS Department, but as well as a member of the Medical Reserve Corps. Margaret, when was the Reserve Corps started here in Scotland County?
We actually started in the fall of 2010. We got a $5,000 grant to proceed and start that. So
okay.
That's when we started.
And who was the core group, the nucleus that got it started? The charter
Health Department.
Huh? The Health Department. Okay.
Yes. I am actually called the MRC coordinator. So
MRC coordinator. Okay. How many people are members now?
Oh, I knew you was going to ask that, and I didn't look. We've probably got 20 or 25 people. On an average, we have 10 to 11 people come to a meeting. And our meetings are held the third Thursday of the month at 6:30 at the Health Department. So
6:30 at the Health Department. And anyone can come? They don't need to call and,
no, just
sign up or anything?
We usually try to have some kind of training or information to provide at each meeting. So
okay.
For people that's licensed and medical professionals, they can actually go ahead and get signed up through, it's called Show Me Response. And they can go to showmeresponse.org and enter their credentials and stuff and sign up. And then that way they're in the system. if there's a disaster of some kind, they'll contact them and see if they would like to respond. And through that, they can respond locally, nationally, or whatever.
What are the types of services and skill sets that people have now on the team, and what are you needing? Where's there some vacancies? Where's there some holes that need to be filled?
Well, actually, all the holes need to be filled.
Well, let's start with priorities then. Where are the top priorities that you'd like some help in?
Yeah, we actually need more medical people to sign up. We don't have very many of those at all.
I have a question, though, and again, it's just sort of a practical logistic question, because we have a disaster response plan here in the county as well, and medical people may be doing their services then, and they wouldn't be able to bring their tractor or make the food or help transport or whatever. So don't you need people in addition, though? I mean, I understand that, but wouldn't you like some people in addition to help the medical people?
Yeah.
Because I could see where you guys would have it might be a little medical heavy, and then what happens?
We've got several first responders.
Yeah.
And
how about medical people's spouses or significant others?
Oh, yeah.
That would seem to be a magical fit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to depend on what the need is at the time.
Yeah.
Whether we need medical professionals.
It's hard to predict.
What their skills are, or it just depends on the disaster.
You could need people with chainsaws. I mean, it could be anything like that.
I have a friend named Freddie. He'd like to sign up. No.
Wait.
Okay. Have you guys responded to a disaster yet?
No.
Okay.
No,
Thankfully, right?
No. Yes.
Do you do drills?
We're working on trying to do some kind of exercise. We're going to try to join with Schuyler County's MRC and do an exercise together. Actually, what we do is our drive-through flu clinic. We use as an exercise, as setting up a
sort of like
point of dispensing.
Yes, got it.
Site. So that's our exercise.
Yeah. So you've had to develop a plan, and everyone has their role in the plan, right?
Oh, yes,
when you sign on.
Plans and more plans and more plans.
She has plans for you.
Oh, I've got about 20 books full of plans.
Jessica, what motivated you to get signed up for this?
Well, I really like people as a general. And
no.
I do. I'm kind of twisted, but I do. And, I just figure this is an opportunity to maybe if I'm not on and I don't know when something goes on,
right,
or if I'm off duty from our local ambulance service and they need me in another area,
right,
this is an organization that can contact me and say, Jess, we really need help down by St. Louis. This tragedy has happened.
So the group coordinates needs in other areas?
Yeah, they could.
So in other words, if there was something going on in Clark County, Lewis County, or up north, north of us, you would, Margaret may send out a blast that says,
hey,
they
contact us and say
we
they need help. Margaret could get a hold of us and say, we need some people to help with this. Who's available to go to LaGrange or somewhere like that?
Actually, here a while back when the child was missing in Knox County, Schuyler County MRC was put on standby in case they was needed for backup to help search for the child. So, we could.
So it's not even for mass disasters. It's
No,
just
not
community
necessarily.
responsiveness when there's a need.
Yeah, it could be search and rescue too, anything like that. And one of the neat things about it is you just need to come to the meeting. And let me give a phone number, 660-465-7275. That's Scotland County Health Department and Home Health Agency. If you want to know more get more information from Margaret or about joining up or suppose I can come to a meeting this month, but I may not be able to in July. It's like
good question. A lot of people are committed, and some say overcommitted anyway. I mean, these days, you hear from all the self-help gurus. Don't overcommit yourself. I mean, I could see people saying, "Boy, I'd like to help, but man, can I be available, but not have to sort of take a certification test every month and go to 5 meetings every year?" And what's the minimum requirements that people have?
Well, actually, one of the requirements that they'd like to see is what they call the NIMS training, which is a National Incident Management System, which is a training so communication among all responders is the same. Everybody knows what everybody's talking about.
This is where you have the tactical commander and the command center.
Yeah, that stuff.
Call me. I'll call in some nausea medicine before you do that. No, I mean, that's a long one. That's a little bit of an onerous thing. But, once you get over that hurdle.
They only require us to have two of them, which is 100 and 700, which is all done online.
Oh, good. So it's pared down?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the big deal is like a telephone book.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you don't have to do the telephone book thing if you
Well,
sign
I
up for...
have.
No, but I mean, folks in the audience couldn't...
no.
They could do the Cliff Notes version. Okay.
And actually, we're going to try to do some of that at a meeting.
Right.
As a classroom type setting, because there's several that don't have internet access and stuff. So.
Well, and you need to know. I mean, otherwise it'd be like a Chinese fire drill if you don't have some organization, and we all understand that. But you have, I guess, or whoever's producing that online and whatever you're going to teach, sort of a boiled down nuts and bolts, what the stuff you need to know so that you can be most effectively utilized.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And one thing we really like to have right now is someone that would be willing to volunteer to learn how to become an amateur radio operator. We received another grant, a federal grant for Homeland Security, and bought ham radio equipment.
Dave, are you listening at the bottom of the hill?
He's already involved.
Oh,
Or-
Mark Denny, are you listening?
Robert, are you listening?
Robert, who? Really, Robert's? Oh, that's right. He's a ham.
Yeah.
But we'd
Yeah.
like to have. We've got a couple that might be interested in doing it. So
that would be
we're looking
helpful.
for volunteers. to
Yeah,
help.
because who knows if the towers go down or someone does the what is it called, the electromagnetic pulse?
Well,
and
it
our
turned out in
smartphones-
Joplin. That's how they.
Really, I
communicated
love
was
amateur
through-
radio. I used to monitor that all the time. It's just fun to listen to those waves. Yeah, I don't do the transmitting, but I do the receiving. So that's cool. So we do have a need there. Anything else you can think of? You mentioned tractors. I really like tractors. Maybe I'll sign up for that.
Bud mentioned tractors.
I've only tipped mine once. No, you don't need a tractor. Okay.
It'll really depend on what the disaster is at the time. What we'll
Yeah,
need.
but you have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So I was thinking of this lost child. I mean, thankfully everything turned out okay. They found, but what about if someone is lost and they needs to do a search? Would your group be involved with people combing the fields or combing the forest or anything like that?
Yeah, we could do
So
that.
it sounds like it's sort of nice. I mean, and just in terms of an interesting type of a membership, you never know what you might be called to, sort of variety, and that's the spice of life. So
Yeah, and we've used the volunteer nurses before for our flu clinics and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
We had the tornado in Kirksville on May 13th, 2010. Or excuse me, that wasn't. It was in 2009. Excuse me.
Was it 9?
May
Yeah.
13th, 2009, and I was on the 4th floor of A.T. Still University, and with a girl whose home was destroyed.
Ooh.
Her husband was able to call her and say, "We've been hit. Come home." So our whole group of meeting folks drove out to Suburban Drive across from Jim Robertson's. We got into the neighborhood, but of course we couldn't get out because they blocked everything off. But we got in right before the ambulance and everybody. But I do have to say, Margaret and Jess, for people like me who do not have medical training, I could not help with any of the medical training. But interestingly enough, by the time I was able to get out of that neighborhood 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning later that night or the next morning, I went home and Jim and Chuck gathered up generators. We had generators for the farm. They gathered up chainsaws. They gathered up axes, hatchets, ropes. We have a farm tank, and so we got some gasoline. So I was able to take all of that stuff in to this neighborhood the next morning, but no medical help. I could not help with anything medical, but talking about the tractors, the generators, all of those things, all these, friends of mine in that neighborhood, I was able to loan out 2 generators. We had 2 or 3 chainsaws, and that was a great way to at least get started.
Perfect
I had
example.
No medical training.
Yeah, the cleanup
whatsoever.
and freeing objects and getting people into their houses couldn't have happened without those basic
and vacuum
tools.
vacuum sweepers, because so much glass, so we were able to plug the vacuum sweeper into the generator, then we would unplug it and we'd plug the refrigerator in, and then they need to charge their cell phones when we finally got cell phone service, so we were able to plug the cell phones in for a while, and then we'd plug in the shop vac. And
Yeah, if you're a contractor with one of those big, powerful shop vacs, boy, that would be really helpful.
We took Jim and Chuck's shop vac. We took my old 1970s Kirby sweeper. I mean, those kind of things.
Right. Invaluable.
Now we do have a system in place where you could have got in easily. We have an ID badging system.
Okay.
And with that, we issue badges to members and stuff, and we have a handheld scanner that we run that badge through,
Okay.
and it verifies that you are who you are and
protects the people in the area, and because you're always concerned. Tragically, in America, sometimes it wouldn't happen here, but on other places in America, you hear about these disasters turning into looting opportunities,
and that would have probably been pretty helpful in Kirksville. However, I have a license plate that has my name on it, so. Right. So unfortunately, I had come and gone enough.
You'd not make a good looter. No.
I had come and gone enough, and they knew which street I was going to, because I had 3 friends on that street that I was trying to help, and so it hit close to home. Let's just face it, that was one. And a tornado could hit Scotland County as easily as it hit Sullivan and Adair that day.
It's safe to say that it's not a matter of if, but when disaster strikes. You will need help. And it sounds like, folks, it's a minimal commitment, and for very little personal investment in time, you can certainly make a huge difference in someone's life at a time to be determined, because no doubt it will happen. We do seem to be at the crossroads of weather fronts here. It's just crazy. I don't know. So at any rate, we thank you, Margaret and Jessica, for being here. We're going to step aside now. Wanted to give the number again, 465-7275, right, if people are interested. Is it next Thursday is your meeting this month? The third Thursday of every month at 6:30?
Yes.
Is that next Thursday? Okay. Yep. And showmeresponse.org is where you can get a little flavor of what things are going to be like, right?
For the credentialing and stuff.
Thanks very much, Margaret Curry. Thanks, Jessica Severe. Appreciate it. Okay, Jessica has a special thing she wants to talk about, so we'll talk about it when we come back, okay? We'll do that, because if you have kids, they can have some fun, and you'll stay tuned to find out when and how.
And it's all about safety.
To simply hold your horses, to rush would be a crime, 'cause nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it. Nice and easy does it every time.
If you are going to need floor covering soon, stop in at Carpet One at 2915 North Baltimore in Kirksville. Stop by, visit with Justin, and browse the huge selection of flooring at Carpet One in Kirksville. For a limited time, they have 50% off on select carpet and huge savings on wood and vinyl flooring. And listen to this. Mention that you heard this ad on KMM and received 1 room of carpet installed for free. That's Carpet One in Kirksville.
All of my career highlights would mean nothing if it wasn't for the support of my family and friends. Hi, this is Brad Paisley, asking you to go out and support your friends, family, and neighbors as they compete in America's largest talent showcase. Someone is going to win $100,000 and appear on national television. It's a chance of a lifetime and history in the making. So go out and support your hometown favorites today.
How'd you do? I rocked. Game, set, and match.
Congrats.
Thanks. I really covered a lot of ground out there.
Yeah?
Yep. Picked up everything that came my way.
I've had afternoons like that where you're so focused and intense, like you just can't miss.
That's why I love to shop at Kohl's.
You and me both.
Women who shop to win shop at Kohl's. Come to Kohl's one-day sale, Wednesday only. You'll find 50% off specials throughout the store. Kohl's, expect great things.
Hey, I'm inside a car shopper who's comparing new and used cars on Autotrader.com, and a celebration's about to ensue as we get closer to finding the best deal on the perfect car. His head wants something reliable with great gas mileage, but his heart yearns for leather and a big V8. And here we go. Whoa, looks like they both got what they wanted. What a great deal. Now the sparks are really gonna fly. Yep, I'd say he feels pretty good about finding a great deal on a car he loves. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
The Missouri Lottery makes winners every day, but not just in the ways you might think. I'm Mae Sheeby-Reardon, Executive Director of the Missouri Lottery. With all the excitement surrounding the lottery, sometimes it's easy to forget the core purpose behind it, and that's to provide funding for public education. 100% of Missouri Lottery profits goes towards furthering the education of Missouri's kids. In fact, with the help of 5,000 plus retailers, the Missouri Lottery has contributed more than $4 billion to state and public education over the past 26 years. And that money goes to a variety of things in elementary, secondary, and higher education institutions like new technology, transportation, books, special education, and school building maintenance. It also helps fund the A+ Scholarship Program, created to help kids transition smoothly into higher education by providing scholarships and assistance. So go ahead. It's okay to get excited because when you play, Missouri Education wins. To learn more about how lottery dollars benefit your school, go to molottery.com.
A foggy day in London town had me low, had me down. I have viewed the morning with such alarm. The old British Museum had lost its charm.
You're going
Everyone's just dancing and grooving in the studio. Sorry, you have to put up with us here. We're back on Healthy You. Jessica's got rhythm. So, Jessica, tell us about the first annual Kids Safety Day. What's that
Yeah,
about?
we're super excited about it. It's organized by the Scotland County Ambulance Service. We wanted to do something for the community where people could come, bring their families, bring their kids, get tips on different, ideas of things to do things safely, or different ideas of ways to keep your kids safe, but at the same time, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, right now, everybody's kind of broke. We don't really have a lot of extra cash to go and do a lot. So this is something that you can bring your kids to, no out-of-pocket expense for you. Bring your kids, have a good time, eat, play, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's going to be educational, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be free.
Wait a minute.
So-
Lunch
Yeah,
and free.
and free.
There is a free lunch.
Free.
I
Free
didn't
lunch.
think such a thing existed.
Well, and the only thing that we're going to, here's the catch, right? We're going to charge something.
What's
so
that?
you come to play a game,
Yeah.
and we're going to say, so, little 5-year-old feller,
Uh-huh.
what's something you can do to stay safe, We're going to teach them things.
Oh.
So it's a trade-off.
And you'll have the ambulances there, and they
ambulances?
always the eyes just glitter when they see all the ambulance.
The ambulances are going to be there. There's going to be police cars. The state patrol, highway patrol is going to have some things going on there. There's going to be a Jaws of Life demonstration at noon. They're going to actually cut up some cars right there so everybody can watch.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
I might have to come to that.
You should. It's
Wow.
great. It's going to be great. We're really, really excited. There's going to be the smokehouse, where it's a fireman's training thing. It's filled with smoke. You teach kids the safety of
How to
they
get out.
low.
Oh, I thought we were having pork chops for lunch.
No.
No hot dogs.
That's
I don't think they're grass fed either.
So you need.
I don't know
Oh,
what
well,
they are.
I'm sorry. I want heirloom pigs fed on the range. Sorry.
The cotton candy might be grass fed. I don't know.
All I know is it's sugar. What about now? So smokehouse. You mean is this where the firemen practice on a burning house, kind of a
The
deal?
way I take it, yeah, they're kind of taught how to crawl low
Wow.
underneath the level of the smoke. There's going to be...
This is going to turn into a recruiting tool, I mean, a lot of these kids are going to say,
Oh, yeah.
wow, I want to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I work on them every year at the education fair
Yeah,
anyway.
I know.
So we're going to have people from the NRA there talking gun safety.
Good.
There's going to be different games like, what little kid doesn't love the duck game where you pick up the duck?
Yeah.
That's
right.
washer toss game. There's going to be a dunk tank. All right. We're currently working on people who would like to set in the dunk tank.
I did that
right?
once. Oh, no.
Come
Had
on,
a sinus
Dr. T,
infection
right?
for a year.
Don't you know any doctors?
No. Do you know one?
But lots of fun stuff. Instead of cakewalks, cookie walks, things like that. We're going to have things like give the kids little temporary tattoos. We're going to have, this one I'm super excited about, juggler, right? He juggles all kinds of stuff, and he makes over 7,000 balloon animals. He knows off the top of his head 7,000 balloon animals. I think I can successfully make a knot.
Yeah.
Okay.
7,000?
7,000 things, all right?
Wow, he's got too much time.
So he says, try to stump me. So bring your kids. Think of something outrageous. He
That's
says, try to
great.
stump me.
Is this a local guy? Or no?
I think he's from maybe an hour away.
That's
or
pretty
so.
cool. I mean, that's a skill. That's wow.
So we're talking about.
You have a whole. I mean, Jessica has
I
a
have a
stack of cards
stack.
that looks like
Yeah.
my flashcards for my board certification exam. I mean, there's it's wonderful.
Who doesn't love Smokey the Bear and McGruff the Crime Dog?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be there that day.
And
You know?
Scotland County Tiger Mascots.
Yeah.
There'd be all kinds of mascots.
Spike the
running around.
mascot, Sparky the fire dog.
Sparky the fire
I'm
dog
talking,
would be there.
We have some major stuff going on. And this is the first one, people. So just wait and see what next year is going to be like.
So this is the 23rd of June.
The 23rd of June from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Which is a Saturday morning, right?
It is a Saturday.
10 to 1.
10 to 1.
Up on the city square.
That's
City
great.
Square, free, a Saturday in June. What better could
No,
you get, right?
yeah, I mean, that's a perfect combination.
You know,
the time is right, the circumstances are right, and the services are good, and they're lots of fun for the kids. And of course, the people are all as effervescent as Jessica. They really are.
We are
Everyone that
super
I know-
excited
yeah.
about this. You
Yeah.
know, we really, really are. It not only gets us out in the community,
Yeah.
but like my personal love is the kids,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of parents on our crew.
Right.
You know, so we have a special this special bond with all the local kids in the community in the area, and it's just something that we can do for them.
So you're going to connect with the kids, and at the same time give them then through
Give
that
them something
connection,
to
you're
take
going to
away.
give them something to take away.
You know.
Because you'd rather meet them at the safety day than somewhere when they haven't been safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if we can just instill that one thing, if they can take away one thing, whether it be a stop, drop, and roll, or look before you cross the street, you know, one thing that they can take away is one instance that they might not have to call 911.
And they have EMS tattoos, and I'm going to get one on the back of my neck and then go over to my kid's house and tell them I got a new tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That'll be great. Well, good. Again, on the 23rd of June, 10 to 1 up on the square. First annual Kids Safety Day.
Just come for the bounce house alone.
Don't need to sign up, buy a ticket.
No, just show up.
Just show
no
up.
ticket, no calling.
You might be overwhelmed. Watch out. You better be prepared. You're
ready.
going to have a good turnout.
And also, we do need to say that this is co-sponsored by several different business and professional people in the community, and we really appreciate their help. It's going to be an awesome event.
We're still working on the list of people to thank because it is so extensive. Lots of local organizations, businesses, people.
Can organizations still help?
Oh, yes.
They still make a donation in kind or in service or whatever?
Yep.
Who should they contact?
They could contact anyone in the EMS department. Jason's private number is 341-1949, or they can contact any crew member just by calling the hospital at 8511. Anyone who wants to donate time, door prize, money, anything, more than willing, just give us a call. We're still going out and trying to pick up the people that we've missed, but we're talking extensive community. People have stepped up and really helped do this.
You can teach the kids some water. I'm sorry to interrupt, but some water safety as well. I always worry because I hear about little kids. I drive down the street and I see these little pools 2 foot deep, you know, and you think, oh, that's not a problem. But boy, a lot of kids drown every year in little pools like that.
We hadn't thought of. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe for next year's second annual Kids Safety.
There
Day.
you go. Yeah, but that's something that really concerns me. So, and folks, if you're out there, I have a friend who's in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and I get all these emails from him, you know, just warning me. He says, don't forget that kind of a message, you know. So that is very important. And, of course, there'll be tons of other safety advice on the 23rd of June, Saturday morning, 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
And a free lunch will be served.
It's all free.
Are you
The
bringing
games.
fudge? No.
I'm going to be a little busy that day.
I
but
know. I'm kidding. Jessica, thank you. You were always such a spark.
I love
And
being,
a-
one of these days I'm going to take your job, right?
I know. I think so.
Which one?
Yeah, that's not. All righty. Hey, thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being in the studio. We'll come back and open the phone lines, talk about some questions you may have, some stories in the news as well, and maybe catch up on some items at the hospital, too.
Absolutely.
If it's Tuesday morning, it's Healthy You on KMEM 100.5. And we thank Bud for more non-real country bumper music. They're going to fire me here at the station.
Get some boots on and that cowboy hat out.
Another wrecking ball from Washington, ready to hit Missouri families. An out-of-control EPA is dictating costly regulations that will destroy more jobs and raise energy costs for Missouri households. Electricity bills will soar. Thousands of jobs will simply go away. How much more can Missouri families take? Call Senator Claire McCaskill at 314-367-1364. Ask her to stop the EPA wrecking ball. Paid for by Count on Coal. Visit us at countoncoal.org.
Hey folks, Dump Truck here. Talking to all you other commercial trucks and buses. Just like we expect those small cars to use some extra caution around us, we have to realize we can't move like those guys. Sure, that sedan can take a curve at 55, but it's not so easy for us heavy-duty trucks. And if our load shifts, we're in the ditch for sure. So we need to slow down, use some extra caution ourselves, and let's do what we can to get our drivers to buckle up. What do you say?
Brought to you by MoDOT. Buckle up and arrive alive.
Welcome to Agronomy Across Iowa, conversations from the field with your Farmers Cooperative Company expert. Today we are talking with Dave Lemke, Regional Sales Manager for FC's Agronomy Department. Dave, what insects should we be scouting for this time of year?
Well, the first one that's on everybody's radar screen will be black cutworms. Everybody's going to need to be on their toes because the infestations can happen very rapidly and be very catastrophic economically.
In addition to black cutworm, what other insects should be on the radar?
We've heard anything from armyworm, alfalfa weevil, thrips, potato leafhoppers. No doubt western bean cutworm will appear.
What insecticide would you recommend for insect control?
One of them that we've had a lot of success with, good knockdown and really good efficacy on the insects, would be Warrior 2 from Syngenta. You know, it's very safe to use, has a multitude of insects that it will perform very well on, and it acts rapidly.
To learn more about this topic, contact your FC sales agronomist or visit fccoop.com.
Are you pregnant or think you might be? It's common to feel confused, scared, or overwhelmed. The choices you face now are not easy ones, and Memphis Area Pregnancy Care Center is available to help you. Our trained pregnancy consultants truly care about you and are dedicated to helping with decisions about pregnancy and other related concerns. Come in for a free pregnancy test and learn about options and help available to you. All of our services are free and confidential. Give Memphis Area Pregnancy Care Center a call at 660-465-7179.
So Dr. Donaldson did not call this week and say, don't serve cotton candy at the fun day.
Well, we didn't mention it on purpose. We knew you would.
See, he'll say, we want to talk about safety. That's safety. Don't give him the sugar.
Jess says, this is about safety, not health. I'm with you, Jess.
Well, speaking of safety, what about the safety and the health ramifications of getting a screening PSA, that prostate-specific antigen test?
Well,
the U.S. Preventative Task Force Service recommends a D grade, gives prostate-specific antigen PSA testing, as far as mass screening, a D.
Yeah.
Meaning that really it doesn't have a lot of net benefit because it's going to identify
my PSA, and it's
gonna
going to identify your PSA.
Oh, I thought you were going to share another personal health secret with us.
And it's going to identify Joe Blow's PSA if
right.
you know, everybody's is different, and you know.
Now, they recommend against the service as a mass screening, and they say at the next Scotland County Health Fair we shouldn't do PSA screening, and we don't anyway. But I mean, you know, there's been a lot of controversy. The pendulum has swung since when this first came out, developed by Dr. Catalona, largely a guy out of WashU in St. Louis, at my alma mater, and he was a big proponent of that. Then they thought they could refine it with a little sub-specific, a different type of PSA.
Free floating. You look for a different thing in the in the results from the test for a while. I remember.
But here's the question: they say the task force said that the European study, there was a European study that they cited, had a small benefit of no more than 1 in 1,000 men screened in terms of avoiding mortality.
Well,
if you're the 1 in 1,000 men, you may have given it an A grade. And so, you know my feelings on the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. look,
Yes, doctor,
I think
do.
they are a voice with authority that should be thrown into the hopper and mixed up.
Yeah.
But in terms of how each individual patient and their doctor process this kind of information, we have to be careful. These days, government organizations and government-appointed panels and authoritative groups are looking at things like cost-benefit ratios. And that's factored into risk-benefit ratios, meaning the risk of having a PSA that's abnormal, getting a biopsy, complications from the biopsy, and if you have a cancer identified that in most cases, admittedly, may not kill you, but some guys knowing that say, I don't care, I don't want a cancer in my body, I want the prostate surgery, or I want the seeds, or I want the radioactive seeds, or I want whatever. Now they're doing freezing therapy, they're doing ultrasound therapy. There's a lot of ways to destroy abnormal tissue, different energy sources, right?
Yep. TERP, all that
stuff. And they say, well, too many people are going to have complications from surgery and are going to be treated, quote, unnecessarily. Well, a bunch of smart guys sitting around a table eating, as I like to say, eating rubber chicken and drinking expensive wine, making judgments on population statistics. Remember, we are Americans and we are individuals, and they do properly say that you should not be denied the test. You should have the right to get it if you, after a discussion with your doctor, you want to have it.
Right.
And certainly, if you're at high risk, if your father or your brother had prostate cancer, I think all people would realize you probably should be screened.
Well, you'd think so, but see, to me, that would be a much higher risk factor of indicating that I need to go in and start the battery of different tests that there are that would have to do with this. Than it would be because I got a PSA that's slightly elevated.
Right. And that's where the rub comes in, because people listening, if you're out there listening, and I just said that the U.S. Preventative Task Force Service recommends that we don't do screening. You go, what does that mean? I shouldn't get a PSA? Screening means you take a whole population of people, low-risk people, high-risk people that have a family history, maybe they're obese, maybe, they've had other problems. Well, what screening means is you take the whole universe of people, like pap smears, mammograms, and we just say, well, you know what, we're going to pick a number because we're going to pick up enough people to justify the potential downside in terms of money and pain and biopsy, problems and complications. And so screening refers to mass screening of everyone.
Right.
If you have a high risk, if you have a relative, if you have personal risk, if you're obese, that puts you at a little higher risk.
Yes.
I'm not saying you should go out and jump and get your PSA, but talk with your doctor about it.
You know.
And take these kind of of recommendations with a grain of PSA.
And, it's I don't know. I'm 65 now, and I realized that
we know how you feel about screening tests, bud.
Yes, you do. I've got one person in this voting procedure that's on my side, and I'm sticking with him. There's people who have elevated PSA because their grandpa had elevated PSA because his grandpa had elevated PSA.
The most common reason for an elevated prostate-specific antigen is a big prostate.
Yeah.
And most guys over 50 have a big prostate.
Hello.
So sooner or later, thanks for sharing. Another Bud Wilson, this is your life.
I tried it on long trips, so I just make sure that I'm the driver. So anyway, can I just give a shout out to Schuyler County Cancer Fund, and they had their first fundraiser Saturday night, and they raised over $8,000. That
Very good.
Wish I had an applause button here.
They're off to a really good start. And this is money that stays in their community to help people with gas and whatever else they need that have cancer, and they just need help with funding.
Yeah. Sort of like the Military Reserve Corps. I mean, it's just that people that
same.
need support in other ways than the direct medical.
Yeah,
and that too, I guess, in certain instances.
And then what do we have going on at the pool?
We have water. We have aerobics going on. That's through a local gal that's doing water aerobics Mondays and Wednesdays, 12:15 to 12:45. And 5:15 to 5:45, and then we also have arthritis aquatics classes.
Yes, that's
going
the one.
on. That's the
MD.
one. Arthritis aquatics classes, Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 11:45, and that's our therapy department. Great program, and we had a gaggle of gals.
A gaggle of gals.
Guys are invited, but we had a gaggle of gals last year.
It's like the Esther Williams Club of Scotland County. It's great. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you guys for being in the studio and always making sure it runs so smoothly. We will see you next time. Remember, this week, be well. Share it with someone you love. We'll see you next time.
Serving Unionville, Lancaster, Memphis, and Cahokia, this is 100.5 KMEM FM, Memphis, Missouri. Our time is 11 a.m. We have what you want to hear. Don't go away.
That's Con Communications.
Supporting local events and offering education scholarships to support local colleges.
That's Con Communications.
These dollars can go